Hey guys, WantClue here. I hope all of you are doing really well and having a really good day. In today's video, do we want to talk about the most recent firmware update and why the heck I wasn't updating you on all the previous versions. So let's get started and right into it. As you can see guys, we are back again in the web browser and we're currently taking a look on XOS, and this is here running on my Bitaxe Supra. So what are we seeing here? Basically from the web UI stuff, nothing really has changed. But what has changed is actually a couple of bug fixes in the background. So for those of you who might not know, we do have different board versions for all these Bitaxe devices, such as version 204, 205, 206, 207, and so on. As well for the Supras with the board version 400, like the 401, 402, and so on. And on the board version 207 and the board version 402, we introduced a different buck converter. So originally we had a buck converter that was converting everything, and then we also had the INA 260 that was actually measuring the voltage and the amperage going through the Bitaxe in order to show you something like the power consumption, the input voltage, and so on. But with these newer board versions, we switched over to the TPS 546, which has first been introduced by the Bitaxe Hex and does perform just well. But what was happening on the Bitaxe is some sort of a startup sequence bug that we now fixed, and it is really crucial that if you do have one of these later products with the new buck converter, which also is the power measuring at the same time, you need to update it in order to make sure that it is working correctly. Because let me quickly explain to you what was happening. So the Bitaxe was starting, and then after a couple of seconds, it tries to actually read the voltage, it tries to read the temperature, it tries to initialize the ASIC chip, and so on. And the issue was, if you do try to read the temperature before the ASIC chip is initialized, the value is incorrect. Therefore, the Bitaxe was thinking, all right, I'm in overheating mode, I need to shut down immediately. And this was causing issues. So people were responding, hey, we do have some sort of an issue here. My Bitaxe device is restarting constantly, or like my Bitaxe shows overheat mode, I can't disable it, what's going on? So that's the issue what was there. Like it was trying to read the temperature and was trying to do all stuff simultaneously over I2C, which is a communication bus between this IC and the ESP. And this caused issues. Let's quickly go over to the ESP minor repository and let's quickly take a look on the bug fixes that we do have in here. As we see, like it is stated as a critical gamma bug fix, but it does not only apply to the gamma, it also applies to the Supra and to the Ultra if you do have the latest board versions. If you do have the version, let's say 204 or 401, you're totally fine. You can update, you don't need to. There are a couple of other updates in here as well that are improvements, such as, like the first one is the fix for the TPS 546 that I was talking about. It caused corruptions and it was just bad. There are a couple of other improvements for the version 601, so the Bitaxe Gamma, as well as some updates on the support, like Scott implemented the support for the Gamma. I removed a couple of duplications in the code, which is great. Also, I added like the frequency ramp up, which is now pretty neat. If you do have a Bitaxe Supra, you should check this out and update to the version 2.2.2, because now I need to check this twice, but usually your Bitaxe was trying to apply a certain ASIC frequency immediately to the ASIC. And I mean, we were digging into the ASIC chips and what Bitmain is doing with them over quite a while now. And I was always bugging myself about the fact that these machines take minutes to boot up to its full capacity. So I thought, maybe we should do the ramp up a little bit slower than what they are doing, or what we are doing currently, in order to get a little bit closer to what they are doing. So I added up a frequency ramp up here, which has been introduced by the inventor of the Pix. So just need to mention this here. I just moved it over, which is perfect, and I adapted it. And Also, we had a couple of other fixes on the WebSocket, which caused the device to crash. Like, for example, if you try to go in the web UI and immediately after boot up, click on the logs and try to read the logs, sometimes it could cause a crash on your device, which has been fixed by Anderson. Really, thanks to you. That's really, really appreciated. And then we also had like a transition from the power management that I added in here, which is also perfect. So this allows you on your Supra, I'm not talking about the Ultra because there are a couple of other things that I need to implement there. And I think for the Gamma, it should work, but I'm not, I need another Gamma to test this properly. The one that I do have is just not really working the way it should. So what this allows you is on your Supra device, if it is online and you use version 2.2.2 and now you try to change the frequency, usually what you needed to do was you need to click on save. Let's go over there. So usually what you needed to do was you need to adjust the frequency according to whatever you want and the core voltage, click on save and restart. Now what you can do is actually I can put it to 400, click on save, and if I then go over to the logs, I should be able to see that it actually does not need a reboot, but is reallocating the frequency. And I'm currently not at home, so I'm working here from remote, so maybe this is just not working as intended. Let's go back to settings, set up to 500 again, go to logs, and let's see if we can get the logs here. See, it is adjusting the frequency live on the device. You no longer need to reboot your device. But as I said, be cautious. This is currently just working on the Supra. I think it's also working on the Gamma. I need to do the work for the Ultra as well. It's a little bit tough to get it for all the different devices at the same time because, you know, programming stuff, it sometimes takes a little bit of time. But yeah, and last but not least, we had a couple of other invalid IPv4 validations that are also been introduced by Anderson, and a fix for the overtemp on the self-test by Benjamin, which is just perfect. So this is everything for the version 2.2.2, and if you do think this is informational, please make sure to subscribe and give me a like to this video, because this actually shows me that you guys are interested in these updates and want more of this. Thanks for watching and see you next time.